For those of you who've been around for a while, you might remember the late, great Bob Cote, founder of Step 13. Bob is gone, but his legacy lives on. Paul Scudo now runs what was Step 13, now is called Step Denver. Thanks for being here.
John, thanks so much for having me.
All right, what has always amazed me about Step 13 and now Step Denver is it takes no government money. And not just because I'm a mean guy who doesn't like government spending, but Bob showed me how effective he could be because he didn't have government strings attached. Explain that to me.
There's a couple reasons for that, John. The first reason is we're trying to affect a behavioral change in the men. We will not let them be dependent on government money.
And again, if I didn't mention it, this is for homeless people, people with addiction issues.
People that are suffering the consequences of the disease of addiction, which the number one consequence is homelessness. Unemployment, family relationships, those things as well. But homelessness is what usually comes first.
But why not take the government money? Why not take the assistance? Because I'm sure you guys could get a lot of government grants. I'm sure you could get a lot of money. Why not do it?
So one of the symptoms of the disease of addiction is I want to become dependent on people. I do not want to be personally responsible for myself. I want to continue the cycle of using. So it's very easy for me to get on government subsidies that I can then use any other monies, or sometimes those monies, to maintain my addiction. So because we do not allow the men to be on any government financial assistance, we'll allow them to be on Medicaid, because we will not deny anyone health care, but they cannot be on any financial assistance. We too model that. We set an example for them. Secondarily, while that government money may not be appropriate for people that would be otherwise capable, our population of men, there are people with severe mental and physical disabilities, unwed mothers of children that are fleeing abusive situations that may need that money. We do not feel it's appropriate for us to take that relatively small pot of money and use what could be better used helping those that are truly in need.
Now, we're going to be tight on time, but this is a road you personally have taken. This is a journey you were homeless for, what, a couple of years?
2 years.
Do you mind me asking why and what got you out of it?
Absolutely. I had what you would consider the normal upbringing, upper middle class family, college graduate, successful in business, but suffer from the disease of addiction and could not break that cycle.
What were you addicted to?
My primary drugs of choice were alcohol and cocaine. And when it got to the point where the consequences piled up and I lost my job, I became a felon, and I eventually lost my home. And I lived on the street for 2 years, and my only goal every day was to get $3.58 to get a pint of vodka, to blot out the misery of being homeless.
Your goal, and Bob used to tell me these stories as well, that the money that the guys are begging for went to booze. That was your job as well.
That was my job, and it was a full-time job.
Really?
And I wasn't one of those people that would beg for money or get on government benefits because I was too embarrassed, humiliated, ashamed. I would walk the streets in front of the parking meters and look for the change that people had dropped. Because for many of us, change is just change, right? And for someone that's homeless, it's a fortune.
Why didn't you use the money to buy food? How did you live? You can't live on booze alone. You need some food. Where'd you get the food?
It's a great question. You learn what time Einstein's Bagels throws out the day-old bagels. And you wait by the dumpster. And you take out the day-old bagels and you live off those. People get very creative when they're hungry, John. They get extremely creative. And I found a way to be able to get food. But you can't just get drugs. You can't just get alcohol. That's a job.
So Bob tried this experiment, Bob Cote, your predecessor, and he had booklets of coupons that said, here's a free meal at Step 13. And he told me once that he printed tens of thousands of these for people to give out instead of money, and it was a voucher for free food. And he said all those years he had 2 of them come back for a free meal at his place. Does that sound about right to you?
That's absolutely true.
Why?
We still have that coupon on our website. We don't print them anymore. We direct people to our website, stepdenver.org. People can print one of those coupons. We do have loyal supporters and donors that do that on a weekly basis and hand those out. And in my 4 years of being at Step Denver, I've seen 2.
Really?
So Bob's statement does hold true. To your question of why doesn't an individual come and get a free meal? Because oftentimes there's usually something attached to that. They know we're going to talk to them. We're going to try to help them. They think there may be some type of obligation. Many of the faith-based organizations will have you say a prayer or sit in on a service, and they don't want to do that, right? If they knew they were literally going to get free food and there was no strings attached, they might do that.
Are there places where they go and get free food and there's no strings attached?
There are some food kitchens. Yes, Denver Rescue Mission runs one. But there are very few nowadays that actually do that. St. Francis will do it as well.
And also that's one of the ugliest areas of town with the most debris. I've never seen more homeless in Denver ever than I'm seeing right now. And you've told me off air it's happening in cities all over the state. Part of me is getting to the point of being so frustrated of cleaning up after them. We have to, at our building, we have to clean up feces, we have to clean up vomit, we have to clean up bottles, condoms, needles. And I'm thinking, wait, this is private property. You know, this is not what we signed up for. We had a governor, when he was a mayor, said in 10 years, this is going to end. We have a 10-year plan to end homelessness. And instead, it's just gotten worse. I drive by the rescue mission, and I wonder, why aren't they cleaning this up? I'm talking about the public space. Mm-hmm. I see people waiting for food, and I'm saying, how about this? What if you say, nobody gets food until you sweep up the sidewalks and clean up the litter that you put there? My guess is it would happen. Am I wrong on that?
That would be my assumption. We have found through our program that when we take men into our program, they enter into a social contract. We have them make an agreement with us that we're going to provide you shelter, we'll initially provide you with food. We don't cook for them, but we provide them packaged food because we want them to learn to prepare their meals and clean up after themselves. That there are certain rules, there are certain responsibilities that they have. And we create an environment, a peer culture in which they're helping each other, and exactly what you're describing happens. They clean up after themselves, they help each other, they treat it like a home. So I believe that would work. What we do is...
Let me just, we've only got a minute, let me dive down on that. But that is an agreement, and you will withhold services if they don't change their behavior, is that right?
We will compassionately get them to somewhere else. Essentially, we discharge them. If you do not want to uphold your end of the social contract.
But the Denver Rescue Mission will never do that because they just give out free food. My supposition is, hey, we don't open the doors until the street's cleaned. I'd love to test that for a week.
I think it's a great idea. I will not speak to what any other organization or political bent says or does. We know what works. We have evidence of that, and we're going to continue to do it.
Tell me where people can go to help. We've only got a few seconds left.
Thank you.
It is one of the best charities in Denver. It's amazing. People should give to you. Where do they do that?
They can do that at stepdenver.org. Stepdenver, all one word, .org. On there you can learn about the program. You can donate a vehicle.
It's incredible. Save a life, go to stepdenver.org. I'm Jon Caldara. Read me at the Post, listen to me on KHOW Radio, check out the Independence Institute, and we'll see you next week.